Walk onto the wrong lot in 2026 with the wrong car, and the appraiser won't even open his laptop. No offer, no counter, nothing. 3 dealers turned away the same $69,000 Jeep. 19 of these vehicles have caught fire. Right now, real owners are stuck paying on cars worth $15,000 less than what they still owe. This isn't a slow sales month. It's a trap closing in real time, and the longer you wait, the more it costs you. 13 cars. If yours is here, you need to see all of them. Number 13, Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xe. And this is where the list turns serious, because the next 2 entries aren't about depreciation curves at all. They're about a company admitting in writing that your car might burn. A Minnesota mom picked the Grand Cherokee 4xe for its winter grip and for the ease of running her kids to school on pure electric power. 45,000 trouble-free miles, then a letter landed in her mailbox. NHTS A recall 25V741. Over 320,000 Jeep plug-in hybrids called back for a confirmed battery fire risk, with 19 fires already on record, some of them in vehicles that had already gone through an earlier fix for the exact same defect. That letter wasn't asking her to book an appointment. It was ordering her to stop charging the battery entirely and keep the vehicle outdoors, away from any structure until further notice. So now she parks on the open driveway through a Minnesota winter, 10 feet from an empty garage she can't legally use. She took it to a Jeep dealer hoping for a trade. Flat refusal. No number offered. 2 more dealers nearby gave her the identical answer. Every month, the payment still clears automatically on a $58,000 vehicle the manufacturer won't stand behind and the dealer won't take back. That's not depreciation. That's abandonment with a monthly bill attached. Number 12, Chrysler 300. An appraiser looked a 40-year car buyer dead in the eye in Memphis and told him something he'd never heard before. We cannot accept this vehicle at any price. Not a lowball, a hard stop. He'd brought in his 300S, garaged, hand-waxed every week, barely 31,000 miles. And it didn't matter. The wholesale market for the 300 has cratered so badly that taking it in would have cost the dealership money before the car even left the lot. Here's why that happened. Chrysler builds exactly one vehicle now, the Pacifica minivan. The 300 got axed after 2023 with no successor, no replacement, nothing in the pipeline. Meanwhile, Stellantis is carrying inventory levels more than double the national average. Pair a dead nameplate with a brand running on a single product line, and trade-in value doesn't just drop, it disappears entirely, no matter how the car was treated. 40 years of loyalty meant nothing once nobody wanted to buy the car from the dealer either, because the dealer couldn't move it any faster than he could. Number 11, Nissan Pathfinder. 7 seats, all-wheel drive, room for camping gear, and soccer cleats. That's exactly why he bought it for his family. 2 years in, the transmission started acting strange at highway speed. Nothing that stranded him, just enough of a warning to get ahead of it. So he traded early, which should have been the smart move. Instead, a Colorado dealer offered him $17,000 on a car he'd paid $38,000 for. 2 years of ownership, and more than half the value had already evaporated. CarEdge puts the Pathfinder's 5-year depreciation at roughly 60%, and a 2022 model that's stickered near $33,000 is now changing hands for about $17,000. Stack that against a $1.44 billion loss Nissan posted in the first half of fiscal 2025, with more than a third of its U.S. dealers running in the red, and appraisers stopped trusting the brand as much as the vehicle. That instability doesn't show up anywhere except your trade-in number. Now, here's where it gets worse. Because everything up to this point has been depreciation and bad timing. What's coming next is about brands quietly walking away from the people who bought into them. Number 10. Buick Enclave. A Michigan grandmother spent 4 careful years with a $50,000 SUV, figuring that kind of care would pay off when it came time to downsize. The dealer ran the math and handed her $11,000. She made them recalculate twice, convinced it had to be an error. It wasn't. The Enclave loses 58.5% of its value across 5 years, and a 2025 model is already on pace to shed more than $23,000 in its first 2 years alone. But depreciation is only part of the story. GM told its Buick dealers to pour money into EV charging infrastructure or take a buyout, and close to half of them walked away with the buyout instead. Fewer dealers competing for your trade means a lower offer, full stop. And that gap between what Buick promised its network and what it delivered gets paid by you at the counter in a number she still keeps a photo of on her phone. Number 9. Dodge Charger. The last generation still running a Hemi 5.8. 2 years of saving, a hard-won journeyman's license, and a $54,000 Scat Pack bought as the reward for both. Then life changed, a baby on the way, and it was time to trade towards something practical. He walked into a Stellantis dealer in Arizona expecting the Charger name to still carry weight. It didn't. They offered $22,000, and he's still making payments on a car worth less than what he owes. The Charger's collapse reads like a case study in a brand sabotaging itself. The gas car ended in 2023. The electric version replaced it, and Edmunds says it has shed roughly $50,000 in resale value in its first year on sale. Read that number twice. Old fans don't want the EV. New buyers don't trust a badge that just reversed everything it used to stand for. And Dodge is sitting on 140 days of unsold inventory, nearly double a healthy market. Generations of muscle car loyalty gone in 2 model years, and he's stuck financing the wreckage of a rebrand he never asked for. Number 8. Ram 1500. Truck owners, this one's aimed straight at you. 3 years and 110,000 hard miles. Lumber hauled, trailers towed, job sites covered every day. He figured that kind of proven use would still earn him a fair number. He got $14,000 on a truck that cost far more than that. The dealer wasn't low-balling him out of spite. They were being honest about a market that's turned against every used Ram owner right now. By March 2026, Ram inventory had climbed to 138 days of supply against a healthy benchmark of 76, and Stellantis was cutting $8,000 off brand new 2026 Ram 1,500 just to move them. That means your used truck isn't competing against other used trucks anymore. It's competing against a discounted new one 50 feet away on the same lot, and nothing used wins that fight. The truck itself is fine. That was never in question. The question is whether the factory stops flooding the market long enough for your trade to be worth something, and right now the answer is no matter how many miles you put on it, doing honest work. Number 7. Chevrolet Blazer, the gas-powered version. She bought it because it looked the part. Sharp styling, solid tech, just under $45,000. 2 years later, a sudden job relocation forced a quick sale, and the dealer's answer was $21,000. CarEdge has the gas Blazer losing about 38% of its value in a single year, dead last in the entire mid-size SUV class. Compare it to a RAV4, a Tucson, or a Sportage, and all three hold their value far better. The real problem sits underneath the numbers. Chevrolet took a legendary nameplate built on off-road grit and grafted it onto a road-focused crossover that satisfies nobody. Not the old fans, not a new crowd. It's not a trail rig. It's not a status symbol. It's not a family hauler with any following. It's a car stuck with no identity, and that costs you every single time you're standing at the trade-in desk. Number 6. Infiniti QX60. He leased it to make a statement, a luxury badge parked outside his open houses, telling clients the deals he closed could afford it. When the lease ended, he went in to buy it out and trade towards something newer. The dealer cut him off before he finished the sentence. They already had 7 used QX60s sitting on the lot, some 3 months old with $12,000 already slashed off. Still no takers. The QX60 loses 61.2% of its value over 5 years, one of the worst rates of any luxury SUV in the country. Infiniti as a brand is barely surviving. Just 58,000 vehicles sold nationwide in 2024, with dealers averaging fewer than 1 new sale a day. The brand is now being folded into Nissan showrooms, not as a growth move, but as a quiet confession that the standalone luxury experiment failed. Luxury resale runs on desire, not spec sheets, and once nobody's dreaming about your badge anymore, the used market prices that in before you ever notice, right down to the 7 identical SUVs sitting in front of him that nobody else wanted either. Number 5. Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV. A federal tax credit made the purchase feel like a win. $5,000 off for a teacher watching her budget on a plug-in hybrid that qualified for the incentive. What she didn't account for, a tax credit only lowers what you pay walking in. It does nothing for what you get back walking out. As her battery warranty neared its end, she went to trade toward a used hybrid before that coverage expired. The offer landed $8,000 below what she expected. No accidents, no mechanical issues, just fear. The next buyer's fear of an out-of-warranty battery replacement on a plug-in hybrid from a shrinking brand, a repair bill that can run into the thousands. The Outlander PHEV depreciates 52.7% over 5 years against a 36% average for hybrid compact SUVs, a 16-point gap that comes straight out of your pocket. And as Mitsubishi keeps closing dealerships, the service network that plug-in technology depends on keeps getting thinner. The car works fine. It's everything around it that's collapsing, and your trade-in value is disappearing into that exact gap, the same gap nobody mentioned to her at the finance desk when she signed for the incentive. We're closing in on the top 3 now, and this next stretch is where discontinued models start punishing owners who did absolutely nothing wrong. Number 4. Nissan Altima. He needed something reliable and affordable, and he bought new back when the rates still made sense. 3 years later, unexpected bills piled up, and he needed his payment lower. He walked the Altima into a Toyota store in Houston, and the moment the key fob touched the counter, the whole tone in the room changed. $13,000 offered on a car he'd paid $29,000 for. The appraiser assumed it was an ex-rental. It wasn't, bought new, straight from a Nissan store. But the Altima wears that stigma anyway, because rental fleets have absorbed so many of them over the years that the association is now permanent. It loses 44% of its value in 5 years, 4 points worse than the mid-size sedan average. Then Nissan announced it's stepping back from sedans altogether, which didn't just hit new sales, it told every used buyer in the country not to bother. Why buy the used version of something the manufacturer is walking away from? There's no good answer, and Altima owners are the ones paying for it at the trade counter, penalized for a badge instead of the actual condition of the car. Number 3. Chevrolet Malibu. 3 years of on-time payments, every oil change logged, every rotation done exactly on schedule. An Ohio factory worker did everything by the book, and then General Motors made an announcement that had nothing to do with him and gutted his trade-in value anyway. The Malibu was discontinued, production wrapped in late 2024. No successor, no replacement, just silence. He went in hoping to trade toward a Trax and got offered $9,000, on a car he'd already put $12,600 of payments into. The vehicle was worth less than what he'd already paid for it, and mechanically it was flawless. But 3 words had already destroyed its resale value: no longer manufactured. Used buyers hear that phrase and instantly start pricing in risk: parts, service, long-term support. The moment a model gets killed off, perceived ownership risk spikes, and perception, not condition, is what actually sets the price. He didn't do anything wrong. He just trusted a company that quietly pulled the plug, buried the news in a press release nobody read, and left him holding the difference. Number 2. Mitsubishi Outlander. 2 years of saving for your very first brand new car. 3 years of careful ownership after that. 42,000 miles, not a scratch anywhere on it. Then you walk into a dealership ready to upgrade, and they hand you a number that's $4,000 less than what you still owe the bank. That's the exact reality hitting Outlander owners right now. This SUV loses 51% of its value in 5 years, nearly a decade's worth of depreciation crammed into half the time. Meanwhile, Mitsubishi has been quietly retreating from the American market. 56 fewer dealerships since 2019, and barely 95,000 cars sold nationwide in all of 2025. When the nearest service center might be an hour's drive and the brand barely registers in sales data, appraisers price that risk in automatically. The number they hand you is really just their own uncertainty translated into dollars. And you're the one absorbing every bit of it, even though the car in front of them looks like it just left the showroom. One more, and it's the worst one on this list. Number 1. Jeep Wrangler 4xe. Same recall as number 13, same fire risk, and an even deeper financial wound underneath it. A man in Colorado Springs paid $69,000 for a Wrangler Rubicon, trail-rated and lifted for the terrain he actually drives. 2 years, 32,000 miles, and then the recall hit. Not even his first one. 3 separate fire-related recalls on this model in 3 years. He tried 3 dealerships looking for a way out. The first offered $26,000, a 37% return on a $69,000 vehicle after just 2 years. The second wouldn't touch a 4xe trade until Stellantis confirmed a fix. The third told him to come back once there was a resolution, with 0 timeline attached. He still owes $41,000 on the loan, which leaves him $15,000 underwater on a vehicle he can't charge, can't garage, and can't sell for what he owes. KBB confirms the 2023 Wrangler 4xe has surrendered 58% of its value in 3 years. 3 dealers, 3 different excuses, and not one of them could say when or if that would ever change, leaving him stuck, making payments on a truck he's not even allowed to plug in. So here's the thread connecting all 13. Not one of these owners failed because of how they treated their vehicle. They got caught in decisions made far above them: overproduction, discontinued models, rushed technology. And the bill landed in their mailbox instead of a boardroom. The manufacturer moved on. The owner got stuck holding the payment. 13 cars, 13 people blindsided by choices they never made, and 13 dealerships that were only ever the messengers. If your car just made this list, the window to act is open right now, and it isn't staying open. Drop a comment and tell me if you're driving one of these. And if this opened your eyes, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.